Welcome back, folks. Today is a special Fed edition of 3 at 3. Of course, the Fed was expected to make an announcement that they would make an announcement at some future date, which is what they did. And that's not a surprise. And the markets overall seemingly okay with that. We've seen a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a rally, and then a little bit of a sell-off, but we're still holding at about a 40-point gain for the S&P, just off the highs of the day. Same thing with the Dow, just off the highs of the day, up over 1%. NASDAQ, about 0.8% to the upside, 119 points higher than last night's close. The Russell 2000 also up near the highs, but not at the highs of the session, higher by about 1.75%. With that said, let's get started with the 9/22/2021 3 at 3. Wanted to start off with this one because, as I said on the halftime report, I bought a number of mining-related assets over the last 2 days leading into today. You know that we talked about this one because we talked about it yesterday on 3 at 3. Bullish call buying 36,000, which is 3.6 million share equivalent of the December 33 calls. That is, of course, the right to buy shares at 33 from now till the third week in December. It's a pretty big trade, and today it traded higher. So we just thought we'd point that out to you. I know many of you probably are regularly on these things. Whoops, sorry. We'll get to Jay in just a minute. But as you see, it looks like volume today, almost a full session volume with a little over an hour to trade. And we are higher by almost 4% for Freeport-McMoRan. Bang. Also pointed this out on the halftime report. This was a number of puts. And look at the number of puts, folks. The average going in was about 85,000 over the past month. They traded that in the first hour of trading today in Facebook. And where we sit right now, let me just pull that one up real quick. FB. They had bought puts all the way from 365s all the way down, 350s, 345 puts, and so forth. The put totals, like I say, into the halftime report were staggering. They are right now staggering more so. They are 275,000 puts, 275,000. So it's more than 3 times normal put activity. The heaviest September weekly 340 puts, 43,000 of those have changed hands so far today. So a lot of protection being sought by people who, after they heard from Facebook that the Apple move about what would be allowed through Apple as far as Facebook and their ads, that's a material thing that's going to hurt Facebook for a while. Doesn't mean that you should sell all your stock or anything like that. I had a very large Facebook position that over the past 2 days I've been selling about half of it. And now I have puts against the rest, and I'm short a lot of calls against it. to pay for those puts. So in other words, I didn't liquidate my position completely, but selling half of a position that was my second largest, it just looked too scary, this many puts. And so I wanted to lighten up. Now let's see what Jay Powell and the Fed had to say. I think all of you are pretty familiar with that meme. If you're not, you're welcome. That's Jay Powell printing money. And I actually like the guy, but I don't think transitory is a word that I would use for inflation. I don't think it's going to come back down nearly as fast as the Fed hopes. But as long as they're printing money, we might as well be getting some for us, right? That said, let's roll on to, let's see, this. Hunting for opportunities. Those are those stocks that I told you about. It's a blow up of that Rio Tinto RIO. Worked out nicely. It's up 2.5% today. Freeport up 5%. BHP up about 0.7%. Vale up 3.4%. And Farmer Jim, I already had Cliffs. So it wasn't that I left your favorite Cleveland Cliffs out of this. I already had enough Cliffs. So I added these over the past 2 days, and, they're working out okay. By the way, we had unusual activity again in Freeport today and again in Vale today. All right, let's get started with some fresh meat, shall we? So as far as fresh meat, this is the what's been going on in, that's Lucid. We already did Lucid. I'm going to skip Lucid, sorry. Skills. Let's do Skills, SKLZ. Why? Because with the stock at about $11.50, they're buying the at the money 11.5 calls that expire this week. They bought 16,000 of those calls, which is a pretty healthy amount. Again, this is Kathy Wood stocks, SKLZ. And the fact that they bought 16,000 of those calls early, and presently that strike is showing 43,000 of those calls. That's 4.3 million share equivalent, folks. Those are the kind of people we like to follow in general. So I'm pointing that out to you guys with the stock, more or less at, let's see what Glenn has here, $11.19. I think this one's worth watching. And keep in mind that these are weekly calls, deep end of the pool. They expire in 2 days, Thursday, Friday, 2 days, they'll be gone. Next one, Enely, NLY, Enely. This is a play on mortgage and interest rates and so forth. That's what they trade. It's an $8.80 stock. They're buying NOV 10s. So those, calls are a little more than 10% out of the money. I like buying at the money and selling upside calls. You're a regular viewer of the program, you know that. We buy one, we sell one. That's a call vertical spread, a bullish call vertical spread in this case. And I am in this one, probably be in it for a couple months. There is the stock, $8.86, near the highs of the day. And the volume's 17.7 million shares so far today. Now let's get to the third and final of our 3 at 3. X, which is U.S. Steel. 10,000 of the November 24 calls change hands. The stock, $22 in rough terms. So this is about 10% out of the money. Again, I like buying at the money, not chasing out of the money. I also like putting less money at risk than the people who are buying those out of the money calls. And frequently I can do just that by buying an at the money call in November and selling an upside call against it. I can only make the differential between these two. That is the trade-off. So in other words, if I buy that spread, that's a $2 spread. If you bought 22, sold 24s, that's a $2 spread. You can only make $2 on it. So if you paid 70 cents or something like that for it, you could make the difference between $2 and 70 cents that you paid, $1.30, nearly a 2-to-1 risk reward. So those are the kinds of trades I like to set up. And that's what I've done in letter X, which is U.S. Steel. Stock now about the same level as it was when we first cited it, $21.72. As far as volume and so forth, 23.5 million shares. Yeah, that's a lot. And then look at that range, $6.85 for the 52-week range on up to 31 nearly. And so I like the stock here in the 22-ish range. 30 stocks in 60 minutes. That's what AJ Monty and my brother Pete are going to do tomorrow. So if you'd like to sign up and join that, you can go over to marketrebellion.com and sign up. You'll see this big splashy thing, 30 stocks in 60 minutes. Sign up and you can join them live tomorrow, right at the market close at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Right at the market close, they will take 30 stocks, analyze them, give you buy, sell, hold recommendations as far as technicals on those stocks. And Pete, of course, can comment both on the fundamental as well as unusual option activity side of it. You don't want to miss it. You can only see it live if you sign up through this website. Otherwise, you'll get it near the end of the day on Friday. And wouldn't you rather get it as close to being able to act on it as possible? And I think those of you who know what I'm talking about know that you want to sign up now so you don't get edged out, because we've only got, 10,000 slots for this one. Make sure you sign up now so that you can be part of it. It will stream live at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Questions? If you have questions, I'll try to provide answers. My handle is at Jon Najarian. That's at John with no H, Najarian. All right, let's get to it. Carol Christ. Carol, love you. First Lady of Florida. That's right, because she was the governor's daughter. Sorry. She looks like the governor's daughter. That's how young you look, Carol. But you are the former governor's ex-wife. And she is a wonderful lady, very involved in philanthropic endeavors and so forth. I've met her at several of the conferences that I've been at recently, including the SALT conference. And so tip of the hat to Carol Christ. John. Hey, John. Nice to meet you at SALT. Nice to meet you again, too, Carol. Thank you. I met her also at Jason Lyon's Wall Street event earlier this year. What are your thoughts on GSAT? Seeing any unusual option activity? Well, in fact, yes, we have. GSAT. We've had sentiment very strong in GSAT. We anticipated, and I told this to Carol, I think, when I saw her, that the new iPhone introduction, we had hoped that it might have the long sought after rumored low Earth orbit or LEO connectivity. Didn't have that. That was one of the things we hoped for. Instead, you got camera stuff and better battery life, both of which are nice to have. But I had hoped that, this could have been a phone where we would have connected to GSAT or Iridium, and you could have been basically taking phone calls from anywhere on the planet. So it could be a safety thing for those of us that travel a lot and for some of us that go into the wilderness. But they didn't do that. I still like GSAT, which is Global Star. And so that's my answer, Carol. Thank you. You're a peach. SoFi. SoFi is on the move the last 2 days. Any huge institutional buying of late. 2 upgrades in the last week and a great CEO. I've traded this stock multiple times very well. Izzy sends us that. And Izzy's handle is at VIPERSIII. That's 3 I's at the end of that. All right, Izzy. Yes, SoFi, great call. We've had some very nice setups in this one. I've been very happy to be part of it because we've had upside calls very much outperform in SoFi. In fact, I think we had one that was up, I want to say 800% in the last little bit here. Unusual activity again today. I'm in the calls of SoFi, and perhaps I can talk about it again tomorrow, Izzy. Thank you. DDA, which is Discipline Dictates Action. Vorak yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. And his handle, I can't even see it all. Sorry, it just kind of bled off the page. But Vorak yourself. What a week. Bought and sold my first put for 200% profit in less than a day. Now, just sold my first covered call, LOL. Hope it doesn't hit Thanks for the education, Jon and Pete Najarian. Well, thank you very much. Remember, folks, we have all kinds of education that you can do remotely, meaning we've recorded them. They're on the website, Market Rebellion. And if you join, you can just type in your email and your password, and you can watch them anytime from anywhere on this earth. Also, we have coaches and mentors if you want some private hand-holding and or need to sharpen up your game in one specific area. We have coaches and mentors that can help you do that. We've also got all the subscription products on the site. So you can get all of that if you go to marketrebellion.com/get started. That's marketrebellion.com/get started. Remember, lastly, couple seats left, couple bronze seats left, and then we will be sold out. It'll be 1,100 strong in Vegas. Then if you can't get to Vegas because either A, you didn't pick up those last bronze seats, or B, you just don't want to travel right now, I get it. You can save some money by not traveling and not buying that airfare and hotels and all that. Even though we'd love to see you face to face, we are virtually sold out. So speaking of virtually, you can join virtually every single breakout session that we have, as well as all of the major onstage presentations by going to marketrebellion.com/events. That's marketrebellion.com/events. That's October 1st and 2nd, live from Las Vegas, Nevada. We're basically coming up on just a little over a week, and I can't wait. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Have a great one, and I'll see you back here tomorrow on Market Rebellion Television.